I'm going to say a name that you probably haven't heard since the country was considered normal. Kevin McCarthy is currently trying to worm his way back into Trump's good graces, and he's starting his tour of shame by making the most ridiculous statement possible at the place where all bad dreams begin. Fox News.
Where would this administration be, obviously, without President Trump, but also without him?
Yeah.
They make great people.
They make an amazing team.
But
you've got to have a great disruptor in President Trump, that he has the will to go through it. I'm telling you, when I travel the world, they're jealous of what's happening.
Oh, of course, but
really, countries around the world are jealous about what Musk and Trump are doing to the United States? This is such an outrageous statement that it didn't take long for people to start roasting old Kevin here. Ron Filipkowski said, where does he travel to? Sandals Resorts? Jess Brinchman says, apparently the world is Russia, China, and North Korea. What a joke. Trump has caused more and lasting damage in his short term in office than most people can in a lifetime. I assure you, whoever you are, McCarthy, hilarious that he doesn't even know who Kevin is, that the world is not a fan. Quite the opposite, actually. Ahmed Baba said, I'm literally in Jamaica right now on a pre-wedding trip. In stark contrast to when I was here last year, no one I talk to wants to visit America out of fear of being detained, and they think the Trump administration is a bunch of raging authoritarian lunatics. So no, they're not jealous. He continues saying, for those replying they shouldn't be afraid to visit because they're not illegal, are ignoring the countless reports of green cards being revoked and legal immigrants being detained, including literal spouses of U.S. citizens. So foreign visitors have every reason to be worried. There are countless stories coming out of the woodwork right now of foreign visitors coming to the United States and being arrested or imprisoned for minor infractions or nothing at all. Here's a story of a Russian scientist who opposed Putin's war, fled Russia, and found work at Harvard, and was detained at Logan Airport returning from a French academic conference, and has been sent to an immigration detention center in Louisiana for deportation to Russia. CPB revoked her visa over an undisclosed medical sample, and DHS is now threatening to send her back to Russia, even though she has been publicly anti-Putin and likely faces imprisonment if sent back, for a $500 customs violation. The crux of this issue was that the scientist was bringing over some frog embryos, and they accidentally filled out the customs forms wrong. Instead of giving them the $500 administrative fine that this usually is, they're going to try to deport this woman back to Russia, where she surely faces political persecution. Here's another situation with a 35-year-old Canadian woman named Jasmine Mooney from Yukon. She was detained by ICE at the US-Mexico border since March 3rd. On March 9th, she was listed as released, but was actually disappeared, along with 30 other prisoners into a new detention center. Now, this woman was eventually released and returned to Canada, but according to her, she was stuck in a freezing cell without explanation. Yet, she says, compared to others, I was lucky. As a result, a series of European countries and Canada have issued travel warnings for the US, telling their citizens that this current administration is dangerous for them. Portugal is the latest of this growing group, including Norway, Denmark, Finland, Ireland, Germany, France, and the UK, who have all issued new travel guidance for those wishing to travel to the United States. This person, Maine Wonk, says, America is so great that our strongest allies are warning their citizens to not travel and spend money here. Trump is hurting American families, small business, destroying the economy, and our reputation globally. And he's absolutely correct about that. The decline of Canadians heading to the U.S. is catastrophic for tour operators.
Carl Gildner puts it simply.
People aren't willing to go to the States now. They just don't want to.
And it means a dramatic drop in business to his company Traffic Tours.
Especially New York, which is our signature product to the U.S. Over the years, we are averaging 25 buses, 30 buses a year. We're down to 0.
During its more than half-century of operation in Ottawa, only the pandemic was worse.
But this is certainly a close second. I mean, these are weekly tours. We often went twice weekly.
Waning Canadian tourism to the U.S. is also taking a bite out of Matt Levy's Big Apple operation.
Straight up catastrophic.
Spread Love Tours typically books most of its Canadian student groups in spring, but that's not happening.
In 2024, Canadian high school class trips to New York City made up $35,000 of my gross profit. This year, it's $5,000 and declining. New York City and the attitude of New Yorkers is not representative of the garbage coming out of Washington, D.C.
And falling travel demand between Canada and the U.S. has seen airlines on both sides of the border cutting back on popular summertime routes.
Yes, exactly.
No interest in going to the United States right now.
For Fredericton residents Kelly and Gary Morton, it's Canadian-only travel.
We chose to spend our money coming to watch a hockey tournament, the University Cup Hockey Nationals in Ottawa, and we loved it.
For others, North American relations must continue.
Just because Donald Trump has decided to threaten us with tariffs doesn't mean that everybody in the United States is on the same plane.
But for now, both tour operators must pivot.
I'd like things to go back to normal, where there's, call it free trade with Canada and the U.S.
I give a lot of tours to Canadians, and I miss you guys. And I'll start singing "Oh Canada" to prove it.
Now, Gilner says he's seeing more interest in cross-Canada and European tours, but a full recovery in Canada-U.S. travel may take time, especially with more American tariffs on the horizon. Patricia.
Love New Yorkers, though. CTV's Tyler
Absolutely.
Fleming.
Despite the people of Canada and the people of the United States not wanting to be in the middle of a weird trade war right now, Donald Trump and his DC swamp monsters seem to have made it their personal mission to piss off as many countries as possible. Usha Vance's Greenland visit is another example of this, as the people of Greenland starkly rejected the Vances because they don't want to be involved in American politics. And after JD Vance said he was going to join Usha on this visit, not a single Greenlander was willing to welcome them into their home or business.
Good morning, Adriana. The original plan was for the Second Lady, Usha Vance, to come here to Greenland's capital, Nuuk, on a private visit, including watching a dog sledding race. But that was scrapped after Greenland's outgoing Prime Minister called it, quote, highly aggressive and provocative.
Greenland's always been a quiet place, but has now been swept up in the noise of US politics and President Trump's territorial ambitions.
How long have your Inuit ancestors lived on this land?
Thousands of years.
Kuno Fenker told us he's proud to be Inuit, the indigenous people of this land. He's also a lawmaker in Greenland's parliament.
Who should decide the future of Greenland?
The Greenlandic people.
I'm very lucky to be born here.
A rare exception to that is Jorgen Boesen, a bricklayer.
I ordered it on the internet.
You got it online.
Boesen told us he was Donald Trump Jr.'s guide when he made a controversial trip to Greenland in January.
The Vice President will meet with US service members later today at the Bedufik military base, which is about 1,000 miles north of here.
The Vances now are seemingly not even going to step foot on the island, seeing as the Greenlanders soundly rejected their invitation, an invitation that they shouldn't have even accepted, seeing as it came from some rando citizen and not the government of the country. This move not only pisses off Greenland, it pisses off Denmark and the rest of Europe. So no, Kevin McCarthy, I don't think that the US is the envy of the world's eye right now. I get the feeling that the rest of the world is looking at America like it's a trailer park fire, not exactly something to be envious of. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.